Mexico is protesting expats. Could Thailand be next? Mexico is boiling. Locals are protesting in the streets, smashing windows and yelling at tourists because expats and digital nomads have driven the cost of living through the roof. Now here's the real question. Could it happen in Thailand? And if you live here or plan to, you better think about the answer. Hi, I'm Scott. I'm an American who's been living here in Thailand for over 30 years. I just want to say, if you like this video or any of the live streams I make, please do me a favor and click like. And if you have yet to subscribe, please do so. And remember to hit the notification bell so that you'll stay informed of my next videos and my live streams. So, what is going on in Mexico? Let's get the facts straight. In neighborhoods like Condesa and Roma, locals are being pushed out as Americans and Europeans flood in, driving up rent, buying homes, opening cafes, and snapping up Airbnbs. Protests broke out, angry, direct, and even violent, and locals smashed property and confronted tourists. The signs didn't hold back. Gringo, go home. And housing is a right. The cause? Digital nomads, remote workers, retirees, living off stronger currencies and outbidding locals in their own cities. This isn't just emotional. Rents have doubled and tripled in some cases. Locals may be earning $400 a month, and a basic apartment in these neighborhoods is now $1,000 or more. That's crazy. This is what happens when the expat dream becomes a local's nightmare. And you have to think, what if this happened in Thailand? Now, Thailand hasn't really exploded like Mexico. I think it's already been through it. I don't know what the deal is, but the ingredients are here in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket. You've got entire neighborhoods where foreigners dominate the housing market, and rents in parts of Bangkok rival U.S. cities now. Now, I would say if you're smart about how you go about finding a place to live, you can find an affordable place. I know many people who are paying. Listen, I knew a guy once, he paid 80,000 baht a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. It had like 5 air conditioners. It was huge, but it only had 2 bedrooms. He paid 80,000. Chiang Mai, the old city, is full of Airbnbs and digital nomads sipping lattes all day, while locals commute 45 minutes from the outskirts because they can't afford to live downtown anymore. Even Pattaya in Phuket, where things were dirt cheap 10, 15 years ago, are no longer bargains. Property prices are up, rent is up, and who is driving it? Mostly foreigners. Thailand hasn't had the protest level backlash yet, but don't think it can't happen. People talk and resentment builds quietly. Now, I don't know if this will happen here, but, anything can happen. The real problem is the model. Foreigners move in, spend money, and talk about how cheap everything is. And here's the problem. What's cheap for you is often unaffordable for the locals. You come from a place where a Greek yogurt might cost $6 and the rent is $2,000. You see a pork chop for $5 and think it's a steal. But if the average Thai is making 15,000 baht a month, that same pork chop is 10% of their weekly income. Now, I would say, everybody says the average Thai. What is the average Thai? I can tell you I know a lot of Thais who, they might be making 15,000, 20,000 baht a month, and most of them are fairly young. I know a 28-year-old Thai who is making about 20,000 baht a month. But she lives with her boyfriend, and they combine incomes, and they live fairly well. But you know what averages is anybody's guess. Expats, because I'll tell you something, there are a lot of Thais who earn 40, 50, 100, 200,000. Now, as it goes up, the number of Thais lessens. But expats normalize high prices without realizing it. They reward developers who cater to them, not the locals. They rent overpriced condos that drive up the market. And then they brag about it on YouTube and Instagram. And maybe they don't even mean to brag about it, but they are bragging. You're not just renting the apartment, you're changing a neighborhood in some cases. So now what if the Thais were to get loud? Imagine this, Thai people organizing marches in Tonglor or elsewhere, telling foreigners to leave. Shop windows with "Thailand is not for sale," angry locals confronting tourists in cafe and co-working spaces. That might sound ridiculous, but that's what people thought in Mexico 5 years ago. Not anymore. Thailand has a history of being polite even when they're pissed, but that doesn't mean they don't notice. Prices are rising. Mostly, wages are not rising. And if resentment grows, it might not be expressed in protest. It could come in the form of stricter visa policies, limits on land purchases, higher taxes, or just a cold shoulder. If you are a foreigner living abroad, especially in Thailand, you need to be aware there is an impact. You are causing an impact. And, maybe it's very, very small. Maybe it's not. I can tell you where I live, the price of the place where I live is, some people think it's a little bit high. I mean, as an expat, it's very low to me. But there are places that you can have in this neighborhood. I know for a fact you can get places here for 7, 8, 10,000 baht a month. And to me, that's very reasonable. So I don't think in this area, my area, and the area that I lived before, and the areas that I have lived in the past, the prices weren't all that high. But I know that if you're living down in places like Sukhumvit, maybe Anut, Satorn, those kind of places, if you don't look around, you're going to pay. And you may pay a lot more than you should be paying. So really, don't act like you're entitled. Don't pretend you're a savior. And don't brag about your cheap lifestyle in someone else's backyard. What's happening in Mexico is a warning, and if Thailand goes down the same path, it won't just be bad for locals, it'll be bad for you too. Because once you are no longer welcome, the dream dies, and you'll have no one else to blame but yourself, I guess. I don't know how I feel about this, but I mean, I do feel for people who can't afford to live in a certain area and who get pushed out by gentrification. I really don't know what the answer is here because, it's the way the world works, okay? Do me a favor. That is all I have. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you'd like to show your support for the channel, you can do so by joining the VIP section of the channel by hitting the join button down below, paying as little as $1.99. If you would like to have a consultation, just send me an email, anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. And like I said, that is all I have. Until next time, chok di leo jerkan mai, which means good luck and see you again. Take care.